Pinpoint Weather on NBC5 News is brought to you by the Cow Creek Umpqua Tribe.
Well, plenty of sunshine to start off this Monday morning. Feels pretty nice even with that sunshine, as we're 6 degrees cooler than yesterday morning, sitting in the mid-50s here in the valley. Today we're going to be a little bit warmer than yesterday afternoon, and that warmth is going to continue for much of the week. But by the weekend, a nice little change in the forecast as we dip down and around the seasonal average, if not slightly below that for the weekend. So that is some good news. We have a little bit of a cool down on the way. Now, it's going to be a pretty quiet week. Not a whole lot going on. In fact, the risk of any storms continues pushing east compared to where we were seeing yesterday and the previous couple of days in our eastern counties. So here's the warmth through this week, although it's not like it was on Friday with the mid and upper 90s in portions of the area. We're still well above the seasonal average for this time of year, which is 80 degrees. And you look by this weekend, we dip just a little bit more, getting into some 70s. Although we're not dealing with the extreme heat, it's still hot enough, even with 90 degrees for a high inside the vehicle, can quickly get into some dangerous temperatures. So make sure you always check the back seat before leaving the vehicle if you have any children. Now, high pressure to our south. We have the system that brought the storms yesterday is pushing a bit further out to the east. It's going to be a low pressure system kind of up here in the Pacific North, going up in the Pacific as we get through much of this week. It's just settling there, but by the weekend, that's what's going to provide us with a nice cool down. Now, that risk of any storms pushes further east for today. Some severe storm potential into South Dakota, going all the way into Wyoming. So that chance for even severe storms is further out to the east. So for our area, we get lots of sunshine, which is some good news, even across the northwest. Any signs of rain, even into Tuesday, further up to the north. We might see some clouds, especially by Wednesday morning for portions of the West Valleys and stretching along the coastline with some patchy fog. But overall, we have lots of sunshine and quiet conditions in that 7-day forecast. We got highs today into the 80s for most of us, a few lower 90s like here in Medford, Montague, even Happy Camp, and the coastline dealing with 60s. Brookings a little bit warmer, topping off around 71 degrees. We have a light northwest wind in the valleys, about 5 to 15 miles per hour, nothing overly strong. You do see a little bit breezier conditions for much of the coastline here today. As we get into Tuesday and for much of the rest of the week, we will see some breezier winds throughout our area, so keep that in mind. Nothing overly strong again, still up to around 10 to 18 miles per hour, but we could see some gusts for portions of the area getting up to that 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Now, dry forecast, quiet 7-day forecast, and then we cool off. A little bit more clouds, but nothing, but not any precipitation as we head into this weekend, and a bit more wind Thursday through Saturday with those highs cooling into the 70s this weekend. A nice little setup for us here across our area. We look at our eastern counties again, where they've been dealing with storms. Dry 7-day forecast with plenty of sunshine, highs in the mid 80s through Thursday, and then dropping into the 70s with potentially some morning lows in the upper 30s and low 40s. You look at Northern California, highs into the 90s, morning lows into the lower 50s, and a bit more wind for much of this week with a nice sunny sky. The coastline, Checo effect, still keeping Brookings a little bit warmer here today and tomorrow, then returning to some lower to mid 60s as we end out this week. A bit more wind, especially the strongest day on Wednesday, and then that starts to back off a little bit more with the mostly sunny sky this weekend. Sunday, watching for maybe some showers, but overall a dry forecast.